Hello, hello, and welcome to Oracle Hour. I love being here with you all. My name is Sabrina Rising. I am a spiritual mentor and a psychic medium. And tonight we have a special edition Oracle Hour. Tonight I am offering channeled messages from the spirit realm. The theme tonight is unfinished conversations. So many of us have lost loved ones or have been estranged from our loved ones, whether they have passed away or they're still earthside, but we have lost connection with our loved ones. Perhaps there's been um, an unresolved issue or an argument or something, a conflict that has caused a rift in this connection. And of course, we carry pain and grief and resentment and a sense of deep incompletion around this relationship, especially if this person has crossed over into the spirit realm, because we now know that that end is final, or at least we feel like that end is final, and we feel like we can't have access to these conversations. We can't have access to these people and in order to get complete. And so as a psychic medium, as a spiritual mentor, I'm here to channel spirit on your behalf so that you can have that connection. You can finish that conversation. You can receive the message that you need to receive deep in your heart so that you can hear what you need to hear so that you can move on. Okay. So I want to talk a little bit about, before I get deep into the topic, I'm just going to click over and make sure that we're live on Instagram. This always requires another step for us. So here we go. Okay. All right. All right, beautiful. So we're streaming on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. And if you're on anywhere else other than YouTube, you know the drill. I can't see you, so you have to come on YouTube and join me at Sabrina Rising and put your question in the chat so that we can answer questions on a first come, first serve basis. So before I get into tonight's topic, which I'm so excited about, I was already starting to go into teaching mode. I just want to mention that we are offering the link to come live on screen with me. So if you are someone who has an unfinished conversation, if you have a question for your guides, or perhaps there is a relationship in your life that feels incomplete, it feels like there's a rift there, there's something there that you just can't let go of, and you're carrying pain and grief and unresolved emotions around it, there's the link to join me live on screen so that we can resolve it and you can hear the message that your heart deeply needs to hear so that you can heal and ultimately move on. Okay. So again, the goal of getting complete is not necessarily about reconnecting with that person, especially if they're earthside. So if this is someone who is still here on this earthly plane, someone who is still in human form, there might be a desire to reconnect with this person. There might be a desire to have a relationship again with this person. And that may not always be in your highest and best good or the highest and best good of the other person as well. Sometimes relationships are just meant to teach us about ourselves. They're meant to teach us about deep love, deep forgiveness, and give us the opportunity to expand, to let go, to forgive, and move on, right? And so ultimately, these conversations, all of the channeled messages are for your deepest, deepest healing. Okay. And if you have someone in the spirit realm that you didn't have a chance to say goodbye to, or you or sort of feel incomplete with, the relationship was tough when they were here, when they were alive and in your life, then this would be a wonderful opportunity for you to come on screen or perhaps put your question in the chat, and I can see what I can channel for you so that you can hear that message and you can find deep, deep, deep healing in your soul. Okay. Again, the link for the live is right there. Thank you, Lorraine, for posting that. So that's something for you to consider while you're watching the broadcast. Okay. So just to sort of lead us into this topic, I want to talk tonight about what happens when we die. So what happens when our soul leaves our physical body? Okay, so it's very important for those of you that are new to this channel, if it's your first time here, or if this is your sort of first time dabbling into spirituality or inner work or esoteric concepts, I'm a very grounded psychic medium in the sense where I offer information in a way that's understandable, discernible, and can make sense to you in your everyday life, especially if this is a new topic for you. Okay. And of course, if you have any questions while I'm sharing, just please put them in the chat and I'll make sure I address them before the broadcast is over. Okay. So what happens when we pass away is that our soul leaves our physical body. And for so many of us, we believe that this is the end, right? This is the end of life. There's nothing afterwards. There's nothing beyond this. And for so many of you that are already here, I know that you don't necessarily believe that you know that there is life after death, and that's wonderful. So let me explain to you exactly how our soul transitions and some of the choices that we can make in the astral plane once we leave our physical vessel. So from a scientific perspective, the soul leaves the physical body. Everything in the physical body starts to slow down, and then as our soul leaves our body, we enter what's called the astral plane. And in the astral plane, there is a short period of review. Okay, so we start to review our life, and sort of we get these flashes of our existence, of our 3D reality. And then we start to see everything sort of moving in very, very fast pace. And we're able to reconnect with certain parts that were very poignant, certain memories that we have as we sort of traverse into this astral plane. In this astral plane, we are also reunited with loved ones. This is the point where we get connected with our ancestors, or those of us those that we had a relationship with in 3D, so that we can reconnect with them, experience their presence, feel them. Of course, we're not in physical form anymore. Right. So our soul has literally left the physical body, and we dissolve back into source consciousness. We merge back into consciousness itself, and we become energy. We are energy. We currently experience ourselves as energy expressed in 3D reality in this physical vessel. But once the physical vessel is deceased, the spirit lives on, and it connects back into this eternal consciousness. I call it source consciousness, and it feels very calm, very placid, very neutral. There is an experience of unconditional love, but not love like personal love. It's very, as I mentioned, it's very calm, and it's very very relaxed energy, very neutral energy. So it's not like a high or a low. It's just a calm, equanimous experience of everlasting love. And this is what we merge back into. So your loved ones that have crossed over are not holding on to their personalities. They're not holding on to their opinions and their ideas, or their grudges, or their resentments, or whatever it is that they had as you knew them in 3D reality. They have literally dissolved back into source consciousness. So the ego disappears. The identity is gone. What's left is the soul self, is the consciousness of the soul, and how they and this sort of awareness that is accessible to us in 3D if we do inner work, and if we have a spiritual practice, and if we learn to tune into our guides, and listen to our inner knowing, and develop our intuition, and transcend our limiting beliefs, and move out of fear, these are the topics I talk about almost every single week. As we undo all of this conditioning, we have access to higher self, to source consciousness. And when we leave our physical bodies, we merge back into source consciousness, because that's all there is, right? There is no identity present anymore. The way that we experience ourselves in human form is very temporary, and exclusive to this current incarnation. And for so many of us, and this is all of us, we've had many, many, many lifetimes. And when we merge back into source consciousness in the astral plane, which is sort of the sort of first, I want to say it's the first stop after we leave our physical vessel, and we have this review period, there is an opportunity here to reconcile with our loved ones. There's an opportunity here to choose to come back as a spirit guide, to stay on as a spirit guide, or perhaps to reincarnate and to come right back into physical form, so that you can learn, pick up where you left off, and learn some of those lessons, and learn to neutralize your karma, especially if there's unfinished business, or if there is some resolution to be had in the 3D world. Okay, so if you've lived a life, if you know someone who's lived a life that where their choices were not very loving, where they didn't choose very consciously or intentionally, where they left very unresolved or in a lot of pain, and didn't didn't seek forgiveness or completion before they crossed over, chances are this soul has reincarnated in order to continue the journey of evolution. As human beings, we're here to evolve. So our human life is here to is something we elect to experience so that we can use our human experience to heal, to choose love, to evolve as a soul. Okay. And we come back as often as we need to until we learn all of these lessons. We cultivate this awareness and we essentially use this human experience to liberate our souls. Okay. And once we've achieved this, once we've achieved full liberation, there's really no need to come back in human form anymore, unless you just want to come back and be a teacher or be a guide or be, someone who's here to help others, for example. As far as you connecting with your loved ones, sorry, I'm just plugging in my computer. There we go. All right, good. So as far as you connecting with your loved ones, they are around you at all times. And they, even when the soul has reincarnated into a new human form, we can still access the memory in the records of universal intelligence of that relationship and be able to receive messages and experience the presence of that loved one in a way that's very personal and very recognizable to us. Okay, so I get this question all the time, and I know that not all mediums believe in the same spiritual philosophies. Some of us, some believe don't believe in reincarnation, and there are those of us that do. As a spiritual teacher, of course, I believe in reincarnation. I believe in karma. I believe in the evolution of the soul, as I've just explained it. The purpose of human life is to evolve as a soul, and we come back as many times as we need to, like I said, in order to be able to evolve spiritually. Okay, so you would say, well, why would I come back and want to re-experience the pain of my human life, right? Especially if you've had a lot of suffering, because the point is for you to learn the lessons to undo the suffering so that you can come out of fear and come out of pain and choose to understand yourself on a soul level. Everybody has access to these resources where we can really choose to understand who we are underneath our conditioning. And that's part of the reason why I'm so passionate about teaching these topics, is because I want to give people access to this awareness, to the possibility of connecting to their essence, to their soul self, and to source consciousness, so that you can see that there is so much more to life and to you than this 3D reality that you're living. Okay, so again, once our loved ones cross over, or once we cross over, we have this opportunity to really choose what we're going to do. And what's choosing is not the personality, because the personality has dissolved. What's being prompted is the karmic evolution of this soul, and if it's necessary for the soul to come back to into this human experience to redo human life, sort of have another chance at choosing love and healing and evolving and learning to be peaceful, and learning to understand the essence of oneself in this human incarnation. Or some of us will choose to stay on as guides. And those that just choose to stay on as guides are not necessarily your family members. You can have a guide that you're not related to, that you've never met, or that you don't know of, but perhaps it's a guide who's had a similar life path as you, who's walked the same path as you, who's staying on to guide you, to show you what the next steps are, or to assist you along the journey of evolving in whatever it is that you are, endeavoring to do. Okay. And so spirit guides can be people who you share talents with, or gifts with, or karma with, or spiritual commitments with, and so on. So these are all things that we can sort of determine in a soul regression session or in a reading as well. Okay, so their link to book that, Lorraine will put that up later on before the end of the broadcast, so you can book some time to come and see what is the evolution of my soul. Where am I at on a soul level? What am I here to learn? What is my karmic path? What's unresolved for me? And so on. This is all useful information, especially if you're someone who's struggling or stuck with your life purpose, or you're not sure exactly where to go or how to resolve even a relationship in your life. Okay. So this is all good information. So again, some of us will choose to stay on as guides, and others others, souls, depending on their karmic evolution, might choose to just merge back into source consciousness and move further into the light. We call this God consciousness, and exist in full liberation. Okay. But at any point in time, regardless of where that soul is at, it's important to understand that there is no separation. So it's not like there's this army of souls in the astral plane that are living there separately, just like we're living here in the world. There's only one self, there's only one source and one consciousness. And the record of your relationship with that soul is available to you in 3D so that you can connect with it. You can receive messages from it. You can heal in that connection and experience the presence of that connection in order for you to, like I said at the beginning, to receive the message that you need to hear tonight or whenever it is that you're open to receiving this message so that you can find peace and move on. Okay, so this is what happens essentially when we die. It's a sort of an overview of what happens on a soul level. And again, the benevolence of the universe is that it sets up the opportunity for us to come back and revisit our path and revisit our choices and revisit some of the same relationships. These are the people that we have soul contracts with, so that we can make good, if you will. We can choose love. We can undo the pain of previous incarnations and bring peace not only to ourselves but to other people. And the peace that we cultivate in this life is peace that we make available to all beings everywhere. And of course, this is my ultimate wish for you, for me, and for all beings everywhere, is to find deep, deep inner peace in this 3D reality so you can live it and experience it, and to find peace in the thereafter so that you can offer it to whoever it is that you choose to guide or you choose to be there for. And once you've crossed over and you've achieved and you're in the astral plane and your soul is making the choice in terms of how to evolve. Okay, so I hope this was helpful. Thank you for those of you that have joined me live, and I can see we have so many questions here already. This is great. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Here we go, Lori. Before we take the first question, here we go. Okay, let's see what we have here. All right, beautiful. Okay, go ahead, Lori. Let's take the first question. Hi, Patty. Patty says, hi, Sabrina. I felt out of sorts this week, trouble sleeping, etc. Is there anything my guides want me to know? I'm still new at inner healing and meditation. Totally new experience for me, but good. Okay, beautiful. Patty says, I've been watching your videos for help in this journey, and I'm so thankful for your knowledge. Oh, I'm so grateful to hear that, Patty. Thank you for watching, and I'm glad the videos are helping you. Okay, let's bring back your question. Okay, so I want to address this question because I just talked about what happens when we cross over and having spirit guides and souls and how there's only one soul and we're not separate from each other. It's not like your guides are separate from you, wanting to give you some knowledge or wanting you to know something. It's you that needs to know it. So it's your higher self that's calling in information that could be beneficial for you at this time so that you can find a way to make the most of this human life. Ultimately, we're here to find peace with our humanity, right? To make peace with our humanity, to not struggle in the structures that humanity has set up, and to live a lot, within the limitations that humanity has established, and to live inside these paradigms that we've sort of identified as, the way to operate. For example, your ego self or your identity. You're having trouble sleeping, Patty, because you're overthinking and and you're very concerned about some of the choices that you're making. It feels like there's choices about work or choices about, where to live and where to go from here, and sort of what to do with yourself. This is the biggest question that I feel you're burning with, Patty, is like what to do with myself, or what is the best course of action in order for me to find fulfillment. Okay. So this is causing a lot of rumination, and it's normal that when you're ruminating at night, especially when you have all these thoughts, these unresolved thoughts at night when you go to sleep, of course you're having trouble sleeping. Okay. So the meditation is helping. It would be really good for you to meditate at night just before you drift off to sleep. you can do a sleep meditation. I think there's one that we are going to be publishing this week around nervous system healing or deep cellular healing that will help as well. So a sleep meditation is really good, but also just trusting that you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Okay, so I want you to spend less time grappling and looking for answers in the external realm and trying to, pull the energy and say, okay, what am I supposed to be doing? What's the best course of action? Is this the right job and that kind of thing? If I were to use the context that you're using, what your higher self wants you to know is that you're in a period of transition right now, and you're learning to put yourself first on your healing journey, and to just really relax and trust that you're exactly where you're supposed to be. And doing the meditation at night before you go to sleep is essential. It's essential to notice that the mind is not something that can never be quieted. Okay. It can't never be quieted. It's always going, that's what it does. Right. So meditation is not about learning to quiet the mind. It's about learning to be okay with a mind that will always be active. So developing that equanimity and finding your center, and in all of that rumination is what's going to help you relax. Okay. So, this is totally new experience, like you said. So you have to give this some time. It takes at least 3 months of regular meditation, I would say regular practice to really be able to feel a sense of ease and a sense of detachment from your beliefs and ultimately from all of your fears. Okay. So just give yourself some time to be where you are. No major decisions right now. Okay. I know there's some work stuff that you have to be choosing, but I think we've channeled some guidance around that. Just follow what brings you joy and trust that you're going to be provided for. Patty says that helps. Yes, I'm so excited about deciding my spiritual journey for myself. Good. Thank you. Good. Beautiful. I'm glad that's helpful. Just trust you're exactly where you need to be, and it's okay. I know there's like the tendency to like want guidance and want support and want to know the answer, to want to make sure you're doing it right. But, as long as you're meditating once a day, especially at night before you go to sleep, that is already so much. It already is so much more than most people are doing. So just give yourself permission to be in the process of where you are right now. No major decisions for at least 3 months until you've got a good practice under your belt. Okay. Good. I hope that's helpful. Beautiful. Okay. Hi, Sweet Fairyish. Sweet Fairyish says, hi, any messages from my guides about any opportunities for work coming my way, please? I'm recovering from an autoimmune disease and haven't worked for a while. Thanks. Okay. Oh, I think I remember you. Okay. So, I mean, and again, I say this with love and respect. A lot of this, the autoimmune that you have struggled with has sort of kept some very deep emotions suppressed in your body. And if you're doing the work to uncover those emotions and to really give yourself full permission to feel them, to really process them on a deep cellular level, you're going to experience some relief. Okay. I don't want you to claim the autoimmune disorder anymore. I want you to start to practice the beliefs that you're in full recovery. Okay, so this is going to help pull you into a more energetic space, into a more like less afraid, because there's a lot of fear around what if I can't do it, or what if I don't have the energy, or what if I'm not able to sustain it, or what if I can't follow through. All right, and this is painful, and it's, a lot of it is unconscious because of the trauma you've been through in the last couple of years. It's been very intense. Dealing with an autoimmune disorder can be very destabilizing and very unsettling. So you have to learn to trust your body again. This is really important for you to take 100% responsibility for trusting that your body is not going to betray you, that it has the capacity to function, that you can rely on it to be able to move through the world and do the things that you needed to do, without having to check out or without having to walk away from things. Okay, so this is a self trusting the body is the foundation to before you can really find, ease and peace and freedom around working. Okay, so this is very important for you. Okay, so I want you to focus on believing I can trust my body. I trust my body is going to fulfill on, helping me move around in the world, or helping me have a job, or starting to work again. I'm feeling well enough to work again, and I feel like I can relax and do good work, and have it be sustainable. Okay, so again, I want you to play with the words that really resonate for you in the I am and I have tense, and start creating some inner dialogue around that. Okay, so this is what needs to shift. Work is not necessarily going to come your way. You're going to have to look for it. I feel like you've been on the sidelines, like kind of on the outskirts of life for a while. So you have to step back into it. And this is going to require some courage. It's going to require some trust and some belief in yourself. Of course, nowadays, I mean, there's no reason why you can't work remotely or do something, online, or that type of situation that could be certainly more manageable for you. But I actually think it'd be healthy for you to get out of the house and to be part of a community and to be in a group and to be around other people. I think you'll notice even an uptick in your own energy when you're like around other humans. It's going to be very healthy for you. But there's deep trust that needs to happen in order for you to really believe that you can do it. Okay, because if you're on an unconscious level, if you're afraid that you can't handle it, you're going to block it out. Okay, so I want you to really step into that role, really step into the embodiment of the identity of someone who doesn't have autoimmune disorder, but who's healthy, right? Who's every cell in your body is vibrating with optimal wellness. This is an affirmation I want you to practice. Do that for 2 to 3 weeks and watch what shifts in your body. And then you can just put yourself out there. You can put yourself online, or you can start applying for things and start to ease your way into it. It's very important for you to take baby steps, okay? Because I feel like there was sort of a lack of that in your early childhood. So this is kind of like an opportunity for you to redo that for yourself, to reparent yourself and do it in a way that's very nurturing, very gentle, and at a pace that you can handle. Okay, so that's the message I have for you tonight, sweet fairy, very-ish. I hope, I don't know if you're still here, but hopefully that was helpful. And you can always leave a comment for me at the end of the video, and let me know if that resonated for you. Okay, beautiful. Okay, who's next? Hi, Patty. Patty says, what happens when someone chooses not to? Oh, I love it. I love questions that relate to the content that I teach at the beginning. Patty says, what happens when someone chooses not to come back? Is there another level of spirituality or dimension? Yes, there is. So imagine the astral plane, okay? And so imagine that there is this sort of first point of entry into the beyond, okay? There is no veil. This is an illusion because it's all universal intelligence. And it's just a matter, again, I always say this is a matter of opening up our ability to tune into these energies and feel these energies, to understand that we're not separate. So if we choose not to come back, there is, of course, it's not a personal choice. It's a choice that's prompted by the evolution of the karmic evolution of that soul. Okay, so there is a universal intelligence that will determine and say, okay, well, there is more to do, or there is more to serve, or there is more to help, or again, what is the soul prompted to do based on the choices that they've made. And so if they choose not to come back, there is sort of, I want to say, an opportunity to merge back into source consciousness and to stay in the spirit realm. Essentially, is to stay in, as merged in with source consciousness, and simply exist in that plane. This is life. This is existence beyond identity, which is God. right? So there is that merging into God consciousness, as I explained earlier in the broadcast. And most souls choose to come back because we all have the same agreement, whether we are conscious of it or not. Sometimes it takes many, many lifetimes to realize this, but we all have the same agreement to work through our human pain, the contrast, to experience the contrast of humanity, to experience fear, and to work through it as often as we need to until we've liberated ourselves. And we do this not just for ourselves, but we do this for all beings everywhere. Okay. So the ultimate level of spirituality is enlightenment, right? It's God consciousness. And that is where we all intend to be, whether we're aware of it or not. And so those of us that have achieved that in human, who have achieved a lot of I want to say personal liberation in their human life, have the opportunity to choose that. Okay, so that's what's available. Thank you for asking the question, Patty. Hi, Miss Jules. Miss Jules says, "Hi, Sabrina. My mom has been in the hospital over a week, okay, and is becoming increasingly agitated. They've talked to us about potential hospice care. Guidance is much appreciated. Thank you." Hi, Miss Jules. I remember you. I think we talked about, I think we talked about this being the next step for your mom. Okay, so I think that this is a good idea. Hospice care being the best place for her, honestly. And honestly, it frees you up as well. I feel like this is something that has been ongoing for you, is feeling responsible for your mother, is feeling like you have to look out for her, you have to take care of her. Your whole life has been sort of relegated to being consumed with mother's health and how she's doing and so on. And a lot of you has been put on hold. And so, I think hospice care is the best possible solution for her. She'll have, trained professional staff taking care of her, and you will have some space, and of course you'll have some grief to deal with, because it's a huge loss for you to now have to figure out who you are when you're not taking care of your mom, and sort of dealing with your identity in that way. Okay, so this is so important for you to have this opportunity to make sure your mom is getting the absolute best care, and to start to detach from being the one who can provide it for her. Okay, that's my message for you tonight, Miss Jules. Okay, I think that it's very important for you to let go. This is so much about this is you letting go as much as it is her letting go. Okay, hospice care will be excellent for her. This is a good choice. You're beautiful. Okay, who's next? Hi, Donna Marie. Good to see you, Donna Marie. Donna Marie says, "Hi, Sabrina. How are you? I'm undecided about something and need some guidance. An elderly woman needs help, and I was asked if I could watch her. But due to my schedule, I really only can do one day." Okay. My question is, should I work with her the one day a week or focus on my mediumship that day? I have 4 events coming. So, okay. This is where, we have free will, it's up to you to decide where you want to put your energy, Donna. If you put your focus on developing your mediumship, which is what I would do if I were you. So, my hit is to not get into caregiving anymore. Okay. You've been doing this caregiving thing for a really long time, and we're moving away from caregiving and relegating your time, around the needs of the elderly, and just focus. This is the same as Miss Jules. It's the same energy. I want you to focus on developing your mediumship. You've worked so hard. You've put so much time and attention. Feel how it feels in your body as soon as I say it. As soon as I suggest, and I want you to really focus in on what I'm saying. Envision yourself turning down this opportunity to work one day with this woman. Don't you feel a sense of relief? Like I feel it in my body as soon as I channel that for you. Okay. So of course, I'm not here to tell you what to do. You have free will. And of course, you need to do whatever is required in your life for you to feel like you're getting all of your needs met. But, you've awakened this gift within yourself that is so huge. It's so tremendous. It's so beautiful, and it's so powerful. And you have the opportunity to help other people with it. I would put all of my focus on that. I really would, and this 1 day a week situation is not going to be a long-term thing anyway. All right. So just, I don't know if that's helpful, but I just want to offer that to you as well as a way to encourage you to really focus on developing your practice. Okay. This is what I would like to offer you. And this is what your higher self already knows. Okay. Yes, I really want that mediumship. See? Don't, I just said it for you. Yeah, so you already know what you want. You're just not 100% sure if it's going to be successful. You're grappling with your own doubt. And when we grapple with doubt, we fall back to the things that we know. We stay in our comfort zone. We say, well, okay, well, I can always do this instead, or I can always do that instead. This is your point of where you get to really choose. Like, how do I want to live my life? How do I want to feel in my everyday life? How do I want to express myself in my everyday life? This is what you're choosing, right? And this is what you want more than anything. So go for that. Yes, I see that you will be doing more readings. And again, the belief system has so much to do with what you're manifesting in your life. If you've embodied this identity as I'm a medium, and you believe in your abilities, and you know that it doesn't have to be perfect in order for it to be impactful, in order for it to be helpful for people, then you continue on that trajectory, and you start building momentum on that trajectory, and you will build your confidence. This takes time. It's not going to happen overnight, but with time and practice and continuing doing readings, you're going to develop confidence, and that confidence is going to expand into a full-blown career. And so this is what it is good money for the day, but I feel like it's time to expand. Yeah. Well, this is always the Achilles, right? Falling back on the idea of like, well, this will be good money for the day, but you're limiting yourself, right? The sky's the limit as far as what you can create, doing what you love, doing what your heart really wants to be doing. And that's what I want you to follow. Okay. I've been beat up from family members about my mediumship lately. I see. Now the layers are coming through, right? There's more to the story. Here's the thing. And of course, I have so much compassion for you, as a psychic medium myself. Sometimes we don't have the support of our loved ones. Sometimes we don't have the support of our friends. And sometimes it can feel very lonely to pursue the thing that we love the most, that we feel most passionate about. It's very important for you not to prove not to try to prove what you're doing is legitimate. Okay, because you may not be able to convince people. Okay, and this is, again, futile. It's a waste of energy. I would focus on sharing how much joy this brings you, how much it makes you feel good to help others, how much success you're having, how much is lighting you up, and how much it's helping people heal, right? So share that part of it with your family members if they're interested in learning more about it, and set good boundaries. When people are always afraid of the thing that they don't understand, and when we're afraid, we judge, and we discriminate, and we create a barrier between ourselves and others. Yes, it hurts me because it's my daughters. I understand. They don't want to hear it, so don't share it with them. You don't have to, like, this is where you get to create a boundary, right? We cannot allow other people and their beliefs to determine the trajectory of our lives, right? So you're here for you. You're not here to please others. You're doing something that brings you a lot of joy. I don't want you to get discouraged. I know it can be difficult to stay on course, especially when you're feeling criticized, but you can set a good boundary and say, look, this is what I'm doing. This is what I love. This is what brings me the most joy. I would love to share it with you. I feel sad. I feel hurt. I feel disappointed that you're not interested in this part of my life, but I can be your mom. I can still love you, and we can talk about other things. Okay. This is very important for you to be able to draw this boundary in your family. Otherwise, what's the alternative? The alternative is that you walk away from this. The alternative is that you don't do what you love, right? So it's so important. This is such an important message. And here's the thing, the mediumship is not going to leave you alone, right? You're not going to all of a sudden not be interested in it anymore. It'll always be a part of you because it's who you are, right? I feel like I'm not doing anything wrong, and they should not talk to me because they shouldn't not talk to me because I'm their mom. Okay, so first of all, you're not doing anything wrong. And second of all, they have free will. So we can't expect them to choose or not choose. They're free to make whatever choices they want to make. Okay. So again, it's very important that if you're making a decision to live your own path and to express, to be fully self-expressed, the people that support you are the people that deserve to be in your life. Okay. Those who don't support you, you can hold space for them. You can, especially if it's your daughters, you can hold space for them. You can be compassionate towards them. You can be empathetic towards them, but don't take on their judgment and allow it to curb who you are, because you're never going to forgive yourself, right? This is self-betrayal. Okay. Donna Marie says, I know it's not. It's been more intense lately, my mediumship. Yeah, good. So you're growing and developing as a medium. And the more you do this work and the more successful you are and the more joy it brings you, there's going to be a time when your daughters come around and they will see that this is like a real thing and that you're actually helping people, and that and that there's nothing here to be afraid of. Okay. So you can invite them to ask you questions. You can invite them to, to see if they want to experience it, like, or to sort of be a bystander, if you will, and see if they're open to it. Okay. But again, I wouldn't push it. I would just leave it an open invitation and say, do you want to understand more about what I do and why I'm doing it? And then just let it be. Okay. This is my advice for you, Donna Marie. Stay on track. This is what you want to do. It's the thing that makes you the happiest. And it's very important for you to find community. So other like-minded people that you can really connect with and lean into. We need support in our community. Of course, I have resources for you as far as mediumship communities where you can find support in Facebook and so on. Okay. So I'm happy to share those with you as well. Donna Marie says, yeah, I'm not going to push this on. Okay, good, beautiful, good. In the meantime, the more you accept that this is who you are, the more you embody and recognize yourself as such, the more likely they are to come around eventually. Okay, so oftentimes, and happens more often than we think, our relationships mirror back to us the deep-seated doubt we have within ourselves. If you're not taking yourself seriously as a medium, your daughters won't take yourself seriously as a medium. So start taking yourself seriously as a medium. Don't consider these other jobs that you don't really want to do. Stop talking yourself out of it and just accept that this is who you are. The sooner you do that, the sooner you can have regular conversations with your family members about it. Donna Marie says, thank you. I needed to hear this from you. Love you. Oh, I love you too. Oh, if I was with you, I would be giving you a big, huge hug. All right, good. I'm glad this was helpful. Beautiful. Okay, who's next? Hi, Shiloh. It's good to see you tonight. Shiloh says, hi, Sunday Soul Oracle community. I love the Soul Oracle. Sabrina, I went to see my apartment. Wow. And native Indian theme. Amazing. What does Mike, my spirit guide, what does Mike see my spirit guides want to say to me during this transition? No doubt he led me here. Oh, beautiful. Okay. So, so the first thing I want to say is the place that you're going to feels like it's definitely like a major upgrade from where you've been living. So it's like it feels like a big step up, like into something that is like maybe bigger, more expensive than what you're used to. It feels newer. It feels more high end. If you have a message for me from other spirit ancestors, please. Okay, good. So let me continue on this track. So it feels like this is like a stretch energetically, like in terms of you holding the frequency for it. But I want you to know that you're going to be provided for. That's the first step. So we're talking to Mike here, and this Mike is saying, like, you deserve this. Let yourself believe that you deserve this. Let yourself believe that you've earned it, that you can have it, that this is where you belong. Okay. So there's a lot of self-doubt around, can I really pull this off? Is this really meant for me? That kind of thing. I love the native Indian theme as well, because, this is so much of your ancestry is there. There's something about this land that you're moving to as well that I feel has this history. So I don't know if you're familiar with this, Shiloh, but like I would look into this land that you're feeling drawn to, that you're moving to, and see what the roots are there, like what the what tribes were there originally, because it feels like there's more for you to explore in this realm. The other spirit I'm feeling as well, the other presence I'm feeling is your grandmother. Feels like it's paternal grandmother. Or perhaps it's Mike's mother, but it's an older grandmother figure. And she is like, she's just so happy for you. She's like, finally, like something something that's worthy of you. Right. And so this is where she wants to see you, is feeling like uplifted and, taken care of, and living comfortably, and feeling like you've achieved a certain level of stability and security. But it's not just that, it's also you're being recognized. And this has to do with the job as well. So lots of blessings in your family on Mike's side of the family, for where you are right now, what you've managed to accomplish for yourself. So this feels, it feels very, very expansive, a little scary, but I want you to just trust and relax that you've got this. Like, you're going to be taken care of, and you've been ushered into this area for a reason. Yeah, and it's going to be okay. We're going to, in 6 months from now, you're going to come back to Oracle Hour. You're going to be like, oh my God, my life looks completely different. Like, all those fears I had around scarcity and lack and not knowing where I belong, and, that kind of thing, this will all have shifted. It feels like there's a real opportunity to create community here. Shiloh says, I live in a nice place, but this place is wow. Yes. Okay, good. When I walked in at Floor, I was floored. Native American. I'm so joyful. Grandmother, I never knew them, but I never knew Mike's family. Okay, beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. So this is the wow that I'm feeling like. It's like a big jump. And so Shiloh says, yes, I feel it. Good. I feel it too for you. It's going to be, it's like you're walking into the unknown, new job, new apartment, the total upgrade that we talked about, but this is exactly where you're supposed to be. And there's, I keep seeing a scene of you by the water. I don't know if there's a creek nearby where you live, but there's something very important for you to connect with the land as well. So, and some Native American rituals as well would be good to introduce into your practice, so that you can really connect with your ancestors in that way. Grandmother energy on the paternal side. So it's either Mike's grandmother or your dad's mom, but a paternal grandmother that's sort of helping guide. I'm still in awe that Mike chose to be my spirit guide. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, I mean, why not? This is, again, I'm worthy of this, right? This is the common theme, and most of the doubt that's been created throughout your journey that we've been working together. I am worthy of this. Of course I would be chosen. I am chosen, right? And you're coming out of a history of feeling rejected and turned down by your caregivers, by your loved ones, by society, by the environment, environments that you've been in. And now you're coming into this consciousness of, I am chosen, right? I am chosen. And so it's important for you to choose yourself, and to really, really take that on. Okay. So that it becomes a working part of who you are, and it becomes the experience you have in your everyday life. Okay. Wow. I just received my, oh, Hape. I look like my dad's mom. Okay, good. Yeah, dad's mom. That's beautiful. And the Native American ritual, I guess that's the Hape. So that would make sense. She's guiding this. So she's the one who led you to it. And there's something in that, the ceremonial part of it that is, that's going to connect you to this lineage, the ancestors you have, especially on your father's side, so that you can really embody your self-worth. There's something deeper here about you learning about where you come from and what you're worth, and this, I feel like this has been a theme your entire life, is finding your place in the world. And so this is beautiful that this is the trajectory that you're on, and this is what's up for you now that you've landed in a place that's yours, and in this new life. Okay, so Charlotte says, she died when I was born, same day. I feel like she's in me, if that makes sense. Yes, that makes perfect sense. It makes really perfect sense, and it makes sense that she would be the one that that is guiding you, and that is with you. Okay, and again, as I mentioned at the beginning, the personality is not there anymore. The physicality is not there anymore. She's merged into soul consciousness. She might even be reincarnated, most likely. But the memory of that relationship, the memory of the record of her being your dad's mom and your grandmother, and her being able to come through with messages that are relevant to you, is what is being called forward, is what you're calling in as a guide. You're the one doing it, right? Yes, I sense this so much deeper. Yes, beautiful. So you're the one calling it in. You're the one saying, I want to know myself. I want to know myself. I want to explore my roots. I want to feel safe and grounded in what I'm creating, right? I want to feel connected to something, that deep sense of belonging. Okay. So that's what's coming through as I'm channeling for you. And this is beautiful. So I just want you to embrace that. Just trust it and relax. And when you do your Native American ritual, your hape ceremony, just tuning into her energy and calling in her wisdom and her guidance. It's really going to help open up your practice. Okay. So it says in 2 days, obviously from there. Beautiful. That's amazing. So awesome. Congratulations again. Really, really good job. Beautiful manifestation. And thank you for sharing with our community. Okay. Don Marie says, is there an unfinished conversation from someone in spirit? All right. Let's see, Don Marie, what I have for you. Well, I know that you're a medium, so I know that you talk to the spirit team all the time. Let me see who I have as an unfinished conversation for you. I want to say there's something around your son's father, the oldest one. And if you're still here, Donna Marie, please validate. There's someone, I apologize for the noise, my dogs. There's something around your son's dad. Pardon me, 1 second. All right, we're back. I love the be right back sign. Thank you, Lori. That's awesome. Okay, there's something around your son's father, and what I want to say is that he never. Okay, yes. Okay, good. Yes, the puppy. I know. Okay, so there's something around him. Actually, I don't know if he's crossed over or not. He might even still be Earth sign. I want to say that he wants you to know you did a really good job raising your son. He wants you to know that he sort of never fully acknowledged what a tremendous mom you've been. And he wants you to know that you've done everything you possibly can to help him. He passed 10 years ago. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So he wants to, so this is the unfinished conversation with him. He's like never really fully had a chance to acknowledge again what a tremendous job you did, and that you did most of the work. Feels like you did most of the raising on your own. And that he didn't back you up on on some things, like there were some things where you just you didn't have his support, or you didn't have his cooperation. And he, the message I'm getting for your heart, for your soul, is that the choices you made were in your son's highest and best good, and he wants to acknowledge that. Okay. And he wants to acknowledge that you were right to listen to your intuition. You were right to follow through on what you thought was good for your son. And that she says he walked out when Jay was 9 months old. Okay. So he wasn't there, right? So that makes sense. Yeah, you did most of the rearing on your own. And he just says essentially that, yeah, he regrets leaving. He regrets not only leaving you, but leaving Jay. And I feel like he had a really rough life afterwards. Like he never really found peace after he walked out on you. And she says, yes, pardon me. Sorry, Lori. Yes, thank you. He wanted to get back together, but I didn't because of my son, Jay. Okay, good. So yeah, so he just wants to acknowledge that you did a beautiful job raising Jay on your own, and that he's sorry that you didn't get a chance to raise him together, and that it's something that he always regretted. He lived with that regret most of his life, and that he really honors the way that you took care not only of him, but also his family. He's saying something around like Jay's grandparents, and oh, Don. So is he here with us now? Yeah, he's right here. And he's really impressed with how you maintained a relationship with his parents and Jay's grandparents. Feels like you sort of maintained connection with the family, even though Donami says, yes, I still talk to him. Okay, good. So even though he left you, and I feel like the parents felt very bad about their son's behavior. They were very remorseful around their son's behavior, and they were on your side, for lack of a better way of expressing it. And so they wished that he hadn't. She says, I still talk to them. Okay. So they wish that their son had sort of been more responsible towards you. I feel like Mike had a hard life, lots of alcohol and partying and drugs and all that kind of thing. When he passed, we got back in touch. I carry his ashes. Okay, beautiful. Beautiful. So the unfinished conversation there is just thanking you and acknowledging you for how much you had to do on your own, and feeling deeply regretful around the fact that he wasn't there for Jay, and he wasn't there for you, and that you really did right, not only by him, but also by his family. And so there's a deep love and a deep reverence for you, Donna, in this connection. Okay. She says, yes, he was into drugs and alcohol. Yeah, and I feel that. So he just kind of wasted his life. He wasted his life. He wasn't there as a dad. He wasn't there as a husband. He wasn't really there as a son to his parents. And they know that. And so he really loves that you still talk to them, or you still have a relationship with them. And he wants, he doesn't, I feel like he wouldn't dare suggest to Jay that, hey, I loved you, because of course Jay didn't feel that. But the fact of the matter is that there is so much love for Jay from his father. He was so loved. He still is so loved by his dad. And there is so much love there for him that Jay could potentially, when he's ready, connect with his father and receive that message. Okay, Donna Marie says true. So I want to sort of share that with you, that this would be really good for Jay to be able to heal and receive this acknowledgement from his dad, and maybe even some messages that would be deeply personal for him. But you're not the one to do that, okay, Donna, because you're his mom. So, and that would feel would feel too close to home. Okay. So Donna Marie says, I do know that we got married at 18, say too young. Yeah, definitely too young. And, but you took on the responsibility of being a parent and he didn't, right? And you both had that choice. And so he wants to reconcile not only with you, but also I feel like you've done already a lot of work to sort of connect with him and make peace with him, but he wants to reconcile with Jay. So if you can make that possible, that would be great. Donna Marie says, yes, he wouldn't believe me. Yeah. Yeah. But if he talks to someone who is, third party, for example, if he has a session with me or a session with another medium, then of course it will hit differently, and it will connect him to the messages that he needs to really deeply heal, because he's got a wound deep down inside. He has a unresolved wound around the relationship with his dad, or the lack of relationship with his father. Okay. Beautiful. Good. Yeah. Crystal says, very sad. I hear you. And, again, human beings have free will, and we don't always use it for good. We don't always use it to choose love and to choose peace, or to be responsible, or to take advantage of all of the resources that are available to us to heal and to evolve as humans. Of course, this is how I started the broadcast. We're talking about, what happens when we die. And these choices will create the karmic path that we're on. And it will set us up for future opportunities to choose love. And that's the thing about, being a human, being a spirit in a human body, is that we get to re-experience the pain of our choices, the consequences of our choices over and over and over again, until we can make different ones, until we can make more loving ones, and fully heal and transcend our fears. Our fears is what forces us to choose painful experiences and to stay in our suffering. Fear is what does that. Okay. So again, we're here to dissolve fear. And we do that by connecting with our higher selves, by connecting with spirit, and by doing the inner work that's required in order to become aware of where we're holding pain, forgive where we need to, accept ourselves, and love ourselves unconditionally. Okay. So I'm going to leave you with that, Don. I'm going to leave you with his love. And I know that you feel it. I know that you feel the transmission. And again, for those of you that didn't have your questions answered tonight, I think we're going to stop there. Yes, 6:00. Okay, good. So thank you for those of you that stayed on, for those of you that had a reading tonight and got your questions answered. Thank you, Donna, and everybody, for participating, for all your beautiful questions. If you didn't get your question answered tonight, please feel free to book a reading with me. The link is right there, and you can click on that. You can get a psychic reading, a mediumship reading. We can also do a soul regression package as well, which is a 2-session package that's available on that link. There is a psychic gallery that I'm doing in September. It's September 14th. That's in my events on my website. I don't know, Lorraine, if you have the link to that as well, that would be great. And if otherwise, you can always join us. Oh, there's the link for the psychic gallery. Thank you, Lorraine. Otherwise, you can always join us on Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific, where I'm back for Oracle Hour, doing more channeling and doing more connecting with the spirit realm and answering your questions. For those of you that are joining the YouTube channel, if you join the first tier, I believe you can watch all the content ad-free. So this is something I'm just learning. So if you join the first tier, you can watch all of the YouTube content ad-free, and the meditations as well. There's several meditations that are being produced this week, and so those are coming on. So listen for those. Remember that we want to listen in theta wave brain state. So if you can listen just before you drift off to sleep, or just as you're waking up in the morning, those are 2 really effective times to tune into to tune into the meditations and to listen, so that you can really feel those meditations going into your subconscious mind, into your cellular memory, and experience a deep shift. Okay, so I'm always open to feedback. If you're watching the videos, if you have any questions, about tonight's broadcast, please feel free to leave a comment at the end. I always love to hear from you. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you all on Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific. All my love.